This video is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock.
Hello and welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB. Today in the arena, my Platinum madness continues with another ultimatum deck that is one of the more exciting ultimatums, clearly inferior to the emergent kind, but can we, I don't know, make something juicy out of it, just for the fun of it, and that is emergent, no, EERIE Ultimatum. EERIE Ultimatum. So this is a really fun ABZAN one with white, black, and green. It says return any number of permanent cards with different names from your graveyard to the battlefield. This rewards you for playing cards with different names in your deck and for filling your graveyard to some extent, because then you get them all back. You get much more back if your graveyard is larger with the ultimatum. It is also really good if you resolve it against rogues, because they fill your graveyard for you and you can put like half your deck or more onto the battlefield in 1 7-mana sorcery. So EERIE Ultimatum can be a lot of fun. Similar to what we did yesterday with Mardu, the ABZAN control deck is always an interesting challenge. Much like the deck we did yesterday, it's probably going to lose to any kind of a blue deck, because the decks with counterspells generally have ways to completely defeat these kind of decks. And now Emergent Ultimatum, which is in the color blue, is the best ultimatum, so those kind of decks are not what we want to play against. But against the rest of the field, can we build something that does really well? Here we are really rewarded for playing a variety of cards. So we have things like 2 Glass Casket along with 3 Eliminates, 3 Heartless Acts to keep the opponent from killing us. Then we also have 2 Skyclave Apparitions, 2 Elspeth's Nightmares, we have 2 Llanowar Visionaries, we have 1 Elspeth's Sun's Nemesis, 2 Doom Foretold, 4 Binding, because they're that freaking good in an ultimatum deck. The ability to destroy the opponent's best thing and ramp so that you can cast your big thing is too good. 2 copies of Polukranos, a very good card in the meta, as I featured in a few of my decks lately. 2 Solemns to help you with the ramp, and, you know, they're individual card types. They're good with Yorion. They're like the extra bindings, although a little bit worse. We've got 2 Elspeth Conquers Death, 1 Kaya, the Inexorable, for a little spice. If you haven't seen much Kaya in the meta, this will be a fun one. 1 Vorinclex, the idea of getting back Vorinclex, multiple Planeswalkers and Sagas. It can do very nutty things, because Vorinclex makes them all trigger with either extra loyalty to make ultimates right away, or triggers Sagas twice when it's on the field and a Saga enters the battlefield on your side. It's also really good against the opponents playing Binding the Old Gods to shut down their Sagas. 1 Garruk Cursed Huntsman, which has a sweet minus. It can make board presence. It can sacrifice itself immediately on the ultimate with the Vorinclex to give all your creatures +3/+3 and trample. We've also got 4 copies of the EERIE Ultimatum and 1 Ugin, another fun Planeswalker to ultimate, and another part of our variety go large package that works well with the ultimatum. Then a little, like the rest of the cards, you get it. Like we're ramping, and we're drawing cards, and we're making sure we get there. A little bit of spice in Binding of the Titans. So we bound the Old Gods. It's a much better card. Binding of the Titans is an often forgotten saga that actually fills our graveyard, exiles a little bit from the opponent's graveyard, and gets us back a creature or land from the graveyard to the hand, which can help us hit our land drops as well. So 4 copies of that as really the only self-mill effects to make EERIE better, but you really only need a little bit. If you're milling really powerful permanents, you don't need 50 hits off EERIE Ultimatum. If you hit 2 or 3 very strong permanents with this card, it's very good. So, in the mana base, a little wrinkle that you don't see every day. Snow-covered plains, snow-covered swamp, snow-covered forest, along with forest, plains, swamp. Why? Because if you have a snow-covered forest and a forest in your graveyard when you cast the ultimatum, you get back both, because they're different names. It's a minor thing. It will probably never matter, but it's something that makes you feel kind of clever that you can do with this deck. So I've introduced the deck. Let's dedicate it to Justin Mariniak. Thank you very much for hitting the join button below and for $4.99 supporting the channel. It means a lot to me. You get early access to my deck list through a special Discord server channel that only you guys can see, and you get early access to some of my favorite projects. So now that we've introduced the deck and we've done the dedication, let's dive in. Let the EERIE Ultimatum nonsense begin. Ooh, good mana removal, card draw, go first? It's gonna be a good day. Let's rock. Pathway goes on white so that we have double white for an apparition if we draw it, I think. Does that change it? It could. How much green do we need? We have double green already. Do we need triple green? Probably not. Do we need triple black? Yes. Ultimatum. Having to think hard about pathway decisions early, man. All right, blue-black. I think this means we're just in card draw zone on the tone. Zome? What's a zome? I meant to say zone. All right, we can play the tap land and hold 2 mana up and draw. We can also buy Yorion. Basically, it's like using Tome, but we buy one of the best cards in our deck. A card that just will always threaten to reset the Tome and get us 3 more cards. Okay, it's going to be a grind. Our opponent looks to be on blue-black control. Binding the Titans. Well, it can help us hit land drops. Probably not a lot of punish from blue-black control for playing the card. I mean, it's basically 2 mana draw a card. Okay. Interesting. They don't know what it means, but they know they don't like it. They know they don't like it. I'm getting worried about my tome. You haven't drawn any cards yet. You feeling okay? Of course, that was all my decision, the way I'm playing the game. Still hitting land drops, feels good. But I don't see a good reason to run out a Kaya or a Yorion into the open mana. I mean, they'll probably counter the Kaya. Probably. Do we just want them to counter here? No. We wait till they have more mana. Because then we, like their card draw spell, they don't get to resolve it the way that they want to. So let's draw and see if we draw anything fun for the tome. Nope. This is going to be an interesting game. If we get to resolve an ultimatum, we're pretty good. They had Cling. Why didn't they let their graveyard get filled? I guess they were just scared. They don't know what binding does, they just know they don't like it. Okay, backup tome. Nice. See if it resolves. If it resolves, we want the 2 mana. If it doesn't resolve, just play the tap land. Probably saw it coming, which is going to make resolving EERIE Ultimatum really hard. But it looks like they're going to miss a land drop, which is... that is a good thing. Okay, they have a Cling, which makes Elspeth a lot worse. But we can definitely make them use their mana. We don't want them to get to draw cards or scry with Castle if they get 1 more land. Want to force them to counter things. Yeah, okay. I mean, I saw a dispute before and could have played around it, but I don't know. I don't know. Like, should I have played around that dispute as well? I really want the tap land out there so I can play Kaya or Yorion around a dispute. There's a Nightmare. That's pretty good. See if they want to counter this. Resolves. Yeah, they can't let the Yorion happen. Okay, so they have 2 mana up. They would love to use it to counter something, so we don't let them, and we pass and we draw instead. If they had 4 mana or 5 mana open, we would definitely play another spell. Alright, they're saying go. I think we're going to run out multiple spells this turn, so we can overdraw our hand. It's okay. Reveal the hand. Wow, that's a lot of stuff. Look at all this. Look at all this. Just look at it. Nothing here deals with a Kaya, so we'll take this. And we'll play the Kaya and see if they counter it, and if they do, we'll play the Yorion. We could also force out the Kaya. The Kaya has to get pressured. If it ultimates, we just get the Yorion back for free. Ooh, what do you guys want more? Do you want the Yorion or do you want the Kaya? I don't know, man. You guys have seen a lot of Yorions out of me. Let's do a Kaya. Let's go for a Kaya. There's a counter. There might be another, by the way. Maybe we should try... Nah, they won't counter Doom Foretold. They don't have to. Well, I miscounted my land, so Doom Foretold it is. How many is this? 4 cards. We've got 3. This will be 4. They don't have enough to bring back the Cling yet, but they will after Doom goes off. But if they spend 4 mana to get rid of the Elspeth, then I'm definitely going to Kaya. We got them in a bind. Get it? Ooh, they're saying go. Think I'm gonna get my Elspeth on. Get your graveyard? Oh, they don't have... They can flash back the Cling, but they tap out to do it. All right, we got rid of the Cling. Feels good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's count this time. We are mana short of playing Elspeth and bringing out Kaya. Let's attack first. Hit. All right. Come here, my friend. Feels a little bad to do this. All right, we get negated. So, now we play Binding to refill the graveyard. They countered the first one. Are you still afraid of Binding of the Titans? Not now. Interesting. It's definitely... I think it's scarier now than it was before. I mean, now it 100% buys another Elspeth, which the opponent feels like they have to counter anyway. And they cannot buy a land, can they? Look at how many lands we've drawn compared to them. Now we just need must counter threats so we can flex that mana advantage and turn it into a victory. Another white, please. Bring you out. See if the opponent counters this time. Still trying to set up Kaya here. It's going to be hard to ultimate Kaya when they have an Ashiok, though. But a little bit of board presence means we can attack that Ashiok. Resolves. How about some humans? So what do you guys think? Do we go for the Kaya? I don't think so. This might still be a Saw It Coming. Let's refill the graveyard again. We do, of course, want to get something back. Yeah, eliminate that token. Fifth land located. Are you gonna slam Ashiok? Yes, you are. What do you do with Ashiok now that you're tapped out? Make a 2/3. Easy eliminate. Another tome. All right, so exiles. Let's get rid of... I guess that's not important. This can be a card. So I'm thinking if they have a midnight clock and they ever reshuffle their library, right? That's the only thing I'm really worried about. All right. So So we don't have a way to straight up... Oh, I guess we can with the Kaya, right? Kaya can just exile this. Put a ghost form counter on one non-token creature. Well, don't have any of that. Ashiok getting exiled. Kind of beautiful.
If you're going to fight, fight beside me.
Get him. All right, do we have anything to get back next turn? Return target land or creature. So we need to cycle this Triumph for sure. I guess we can use the other mana while they're tapped out to play this Tome. Nothing wrong with that. We might hit another land, but I wouldn't play a tap land anyway. Let's go for it. Let's do it now. There we go. Where is the ultimatum? Although our graveyard isn't exactly popping off because of all the Elspeth nonsense we've had to do. Talk about drawing a random card the hard way when you get back at the Triome. Like another 5 mana on top of the 2 you spent on the binding. But we will do frickin' anything to draw cards, Control Mages. Tank, extinction event. Okay. You know, can we cast the Yorion from exile with Kaya? At the beginning of your upkeep, you may cast a legendary style from a hand, graveyard, or in exile. Yes, we can. So I guess we do hang on to this one. Coming here, Triome. All right. We'll play the Apparition. We'll put a ghost form counter on the Apparition, so if anything ever happens to it, we get it back and we get a spirit.
Trust me.
We will... Are we recasting you? There's one spell and one binding that we could exile and feel good about. Let's draw first with the Triumph. Pelucranos, that's better. We don't have to get rid of this Elspeth just yet. So I wish I'd drawn first. I'd love to have put the counter on the Pelucranos. Little oopsie. I also can't eliminate this in response to the event, so poor Pelucranos. Pelucranos can fight here, but doesn't save anything. Yeah, I did things a little wrong. I think I got a little cocky. Still drawing the removals. All right, how do I see more cards? I'll draw here. Try not to make the mistake I made last turn. Lands for days, lands for days. Go ahead and draw here. Every single tome in the deck is coming at you. Second counter.
Trust me.
Pump it up.
The heart of a hero beats in your breast.
So, what can we exile? One binding. Passage isn't that important, and eliminate, and one more card. I guess Wolfwillow Haven. We could also play, like, we could play a Heartless Act. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Nah. I'm just trying to find ways to leave good cards in the graveyard. So that if I do cast Ultimatum ever, something good happens. But we've escaped so much of our graveyard. It almost doesn't matter. Here comes the Allrun's Epiphany. This card's been waiting a long time. So it's not saw it coming. It could, I mean, if it was Behold the Multiverse, I think we would have seen that too. So feels like it's Allrun's Epiphany. We still have 37 cards to go in our deck. Like, we have a long way to go. We've just drawn, it looks like a lot of the same cards. You still have a lot of power, though. Drawing 4 tomes. It's a lot of tome, man. They say go. Feels like Shark Typhoon, then. Well, we are ready for that. There's Girak. Beefcake. All right, so what's the line? If we cast this, probably gets countered, which is probably okay. If we minus this and plus these on the attack and then kill a shark, that's really good. I think that's step 1. Pressure the life total.
You are braver than you know.
Okay, behold the multiverse from the hand. 2 to the bottom, 2 off the top, and then priority passes. Hand is not great. Out come the dogs. Let's see if they've got negate here. Okay, we got us that. It was saw it coming the whole time. The opponent's like waiting for the win con. Let's go ahead and draw. Binding. Do we want to ramp here? Not really, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, now I have to play something. I could just ramp. We're not doing anything else with our mana. I guess that's not true. I can draw a card here. Oh my lord. All right. Let's keep ticking up.
You'll be fine. Trust me.
I'm going to discard the casket. I don't think there's going to be any targets at sorcery speed for it, and it can come back from the graveyard because it's a permanent if we find the ultimatum. Crawling Barrens. Good reason to hold on to eliminate forever and ever. Okay. I will has Skyclave triggers. Did you know these stack? I'm better off than before the verdict. Oh, that's enough. They're at 3 life. All right. No ultimatums needed. Just tomes, Kaya's, and Elspeth. Like that one Elspeth carried that whole game. Today's MTG assistant meta check is going to tell us that in standard best of 1, we're at 21.16% mono white, 17 mono red on the rise, Sultai Yorion, then even more mono white, and then rogues. So hopefully the aggro decks are out in force for us to feast upon today. Of course, we say that, and look what it is. It's Yorion. So download MTG Assistant with the link in the description. You support the channel. Oh man, I think we set this on green because we're likely to find some white sources with the binding. Not yet though. We hit their Cling to Dust? Yep, looks like we've got to fight Ultimatum, our super nemesis, Sultai Ultimatum. And we still need a white source to get with this binding. We have a second binding to try to do it as well. All right, land first, play around Jwari. They've got something. Probably an Omen. Opponent's confused. Like, what the heck is this card? Nobody plays this card. They might also have another Cling. They're in the tank, too. Negate. What is with people countering this card? It's such a bad card. Oh, man. All right. I mean, freaking cowards. Just because they've never seen the card before and don't know what it does, they're afraid of it. Maybe they want to protect Cling to Dust. Cling to Dust is a good reason. It's a better reason than most. I will bind that if I get the chance. What the heck is... Like, come on now. What are we holding priority on here? Ah, Foretell. Good choice. I think that's a smart choice. First white source. Binding will get the other one. Stone Rain. The D-ramping. Could have also bought the Yorion and tried to pair it with this. We just don't know if they're going to have many permanents for us to target. God, these eliminates are looking sad. Oh, are they? No, you have a land. You're just making me, you're giving me hope with taking your time there. You're just giving me hope. Dude, Ultimatum looks okay right now though. We're gonna get up to 6 mana. This is going to fetch a land, this is a land. That's a land. All right. So, do we buy the Yorion? We don't have much to flicker with it. I think we probably cycle a Triome, to be honest. Let's cycle this one because these are the better colors for our deck. That's a Skyclave target. Oh my goodness, the roping. Come on now. I'm just cycling. Easily one of the most careful Ultimatum players I've ever seen. Maybe they just picked this up after a lifetime of mono red. Like they slow roll me on the clicks. Just, I don't know. Don't know if I'm gonna let that resolve. Okay, we drew the card. The card. We need an untapped land. And we need to protect it by taking out this nightmare. Weird timing. All right. Can we have a land? An untapped land. While the coast is clear, a turn before they can play their Ultimatum. I did cycle. It might come back to bite me. All right, they have their Ultimatum next turn now that they found Cultivate. Okay, they're making their land decisions, but they are also zooming out and just hovering my apparition. Why? Why would anybody do that? I get looking at your own board and figuring out your mana, but hovering my apparition? Get your paws off. There's the land. What do you guys think? Negate? They already played one. Do they have another? Doesn't matter now, does it? Nice. That is very nice. All right, triple black is fine, double green is fine, it all works. Let's go, squad. Let's make some wolves.
Stay on the trail.
We haven't milled any good Ultimatum targets of theirs yet, but we milled our Vorinclex. And a Pelucranos, which we might be able to get back. And we have the Yorion. So if the opponent taps out for the ultimatum and we still have binding, we get to, like, just, I mean, we just get to Yorion all this beautiful stuff. Here's the Epiphany. Okay. Annoying, but okay. Now they get to attack Garrick a little bit, I suppose. Yep, here's their ultimatum. See, they could do the Tybalt trick. That would be nasty. Yeah, if they... We'd have to put away... Not the Voron... Do we put away the Vorinclex? Yeah, I think we have to put away the Vorinclex if they go for Tybalt. Yep. Sucks. But that's the way it is. And we'll see if they have another ultimatum, and if we ever untap again.
It won't help, but it amuses me.
Gross.
Let's play a little game.
All right, if they have one more Epiphany, or if they have one more ultimatum, we're out. We're scooping. Because they can plus this, then -8 to eat all the cards in the graveyards, and we're not going to beat that. Lame. Okay, well, we don't have to fight against another ultimatum deck. That's what I'm saying. It's nice. Let's go get black. Clearly the color we're missing, so we'll fetch it on turn 1. So what are you playing? Adventure nonsense? I think we're okay against adventure cards, for the most part. Yeah, that's gonna die. No, please don't draw that many cards. Alright. Now we get a Visionary, which might get killed by a Giant, we'll see. But we have Binding next turn no matter what. We're on the move. We are doing our thing. Ugin can be good against them. They don't usually have a lot of answers. They might play some counter spells, though. That could be tough. I'm okay if they want to Bone Crush this turn. It takes them off their curve of playing an adventure creature. Makes them play off curve next turn. And this turn we get to buy Yorion, right? Green, green, white, white, black. Alright, black. And now we have Binding and Yorion, which is a pretty devastating combination. And it will keep getting us lands. Eventually we Ugin our opponent into oblivion. Alright, we have the mana for Ultimatum as well, and we get this sweet casket on the token with the Yorion in hand. Feels good. And they pass not doing anything because they know about the Yorion. So, we could get a Triumph, but if I draw those, I can cycle them later. I think I'll just get the Forest instead. Our mana could get in a bind later, though. It's probably a minor point, but I would rather draw the cycle lands than a basic. But the basics can be fetched. Alright. Minor, but not minor, you know what I mean? Yorion! What are you gonna do, counter it? If you do that, you're probably getting Ugin'd. Nice. Well, next turn's gonna be awkward for you. Is it beast time? They're doing nothing. It's like they know. Alright, I'll just play this. I'll take my time. No need to rush. Nice to know that they're sitting on multiple counter spells. I could make a wolf, but then I'm off the Ugin mana, and I'd have to wait possibly an extra turn. Right now we're threatening to get back the Yorion, which is very fun. Okay. Well, Ugin's gonna shoot that. Go away and go away. Ew, dragon.
Do not ignore my draconic talent.
Do not ignore my draconic talent. I love it. Love it. They're poking my graveyard. They're poking my graveyard. It's fine. Don't worry about a thing. It's just a little Yorion that you put there. Say go. Here, buddy. Here, buddy. Have a Hydra. Go ahead, counter it. I'll just bring it back. 0 foxes given. Okay. Bolt you. Tome you. I think what they want to do is bounce the Ugin with a Borrower. If they counter this, they don't get that chance. Yep, there it is. So now what are you going to do about the Hydra? The Crow and War the Hydra. Well, there's a play you can make. Combining the Crow War. Can also replay the Ugin and minus it and exile the Crow War. I think the binding is better. I'll take that back. All right, we can still draw with Tome. Did we hit a land this turn? That's me getting into the minutia of the perfect play while the opponent gets their entire world torn from them. Ugin Avatar. Makes me think they're a ramp player. Let's see. Yorion? Oh no. Rematch with the Nemesis. Pretty unfortunate to pull 2 Yorions and no aggro decks on this pile. But we will fight. We will need a green. I'm trusting the Tome to provide. Junga Hollow. Okay. I'm saving the Predation. This is one of the matchups where it can be a very good card. We take their Ultimatum or their Binding. Can mess up their curve pretty well. Sometimes you just nab their Yorion. My goodness, the tank. The tank! Probably play Tome this turn, draw a card next turn, and play Triumph, but we'll see. Another hollow, 2 mana open. Valky. It's gonna whiff, but they get a look at my hand, which might be the point. Nice to see it on the field here, though, instead of in the library where it can be a much bigger threat. So, they're on 5 cards. We're on 6. At this point, I think it's about scrying with the tome instead of drawing with the tome, since we're kind of ahead on cards and behind on board. Visionary. Ooh. That's an interesting card, but I think the answer is no. Doom. Doom's not great against them. So, one of the big questions here is, do we predation this turn? I think we do. I think binding old gods is too dangerous. So this produces black, this doesn't, so we'll make white. Predation them. Ignore the Valky for a while, it's not really going to do anything. And then next turn we can buy the Yori and play a tapped land, and the turn after that we can bind. Yep, we gotta take their bind. Well, their hand isn't great, but it doesn't have to be. They get this Yorion for free, they already have this Omen. Okay, they draw land off the top that scries. Top or bottom? Top or bottom? Bottom. Alright, so I'm still thinking I'm going to end up casting Yorion, so I think we'll keep scrying. That's another green source, which I think, do we need? This is going to fetch a Triome if we resolve it. I think that's actually a keep. A little bit of ramp can really help. How are we going to deal with negate? If they sacrifice this Omen for scries, their Yorion's much less effective, and they probably want to play it here, and if they play it here, we bind them. And they know it. So I don't think they're going to play Yorion. Oh wait, they haven't even bought it yet. So, also a reason they won't play Yorion here. How do we get them to cast this negate? That's the trick. They're so afraid. We'll take the untapped land. Maybe the play is just to Yorion here. We definitely don't want the bind to get countered, and we don't want the Garruk to get countered. A Yorion here creates a 4/5 body that they can't deal with yet, and can start clocking them. Plus they have to hold up negate for the foreseeable future. That's a real tax. So what are you gonna do? They've decided it's not a Yorion game. They're gonna sacrifice Omen. Having that Omen gone, we might be able to draw a counter out of them with the Doom Foretold, because all they have is the Valky. They did keep one card on top. This is something they like. Might be removal for Yorion, might be a big spell. Don't really know. They kept a bind. Ugh. Ugh. Okay. Well, and they still have negate mana. God, that is perfect. We got rolled. Alright, hit our land drop next turn. 5 mana. Wolfwillow Haven Doom Foretold, I think, is the play, but I'm not sure. We gotta get something countered here. We can't play around this negate forever. We're gonna need this land one way or another. We may as well take it. Okay. So if we play this and they negate it, are we fine with that? Not really. I can still keep setting up to cast 2 spells in one turn, one that they want to negate and one that they don't. I mean, what are you gonna do? You have literally no plays. There we go. It is a tax. Them leaving up mana for most of the game is a big tax, but obviously we're at the mercy of the top of their library. When they draw the big spells, we probably lose anyway, but we can try. I don't think we Heartless Act the Valky. I think we're supposed to save that for the Vorinclex, but they know about it, so they're not going to get the Vorinclex, so we may as well Heartless Act the Valky. It's just not doing anything until we try. I think they drew Ultimatum. There's nothing else to think this hard about. So we'll take the damage, hold this till end step at least, so they don't cast Ultimatum this turn. Oh, they drew Epiphany. Okay. Epiphany is frustrating. Still tanking. Like, buy the Orion. There's no reason not to. Unless this isn't Epiphany. It might be Behold the Multiverse. Full timeout on this sequence about whether or not to buy Yori, and it's the only legal play. Maybe they disconnected, but I don't think so. That said, I haven't seen them frantically touching any cards, so they might be disconnected. So I'm going to try to save the Heartless Act. It puts them off doing the Vorinclex play, which matters a lot. And I'm going to try to bind the Valky and see if that draws the counter spell, especially while they're AFK. Yeah. The game is roping out. So, if we play Doom here, we can sack our binding. They lose their binding, but that doesn't really matter. I think we're better off drawing. We could play the Haven, but then we're not holding up Heartless Act in case of a Vorinclex. This is going to be a good experiment. if we give our opponent a free time, like if the opponent gives us a free time walk by going AFK, going on 2 free time walks, can they still beat us with Sultai Ultimatum because it's that much better than us? Yes! We beat him! We beat Emergent Ultimatum. Deck has a 50-50 matchup. That's the story. Sticking to it. Does anybody play aggro in this meta? It was all over yesterday. We go first. Hand is whiteless, but Tome is going to provide. Believe in the Tome. Believe in the Tome. Your sleeves do stuff. Look at that. Trip you up. Well, that can get a white source one way or another. Roggen Triome. Like, what is going on today? All control. 100% control decks on ladder. Interesting. Cycling, maybe? That's scary. Okay. Come here, Yorion. I'm gonna need another land. I'm gonna need another land. The Tome will provide. You've got to trust the Tome. You've got to trust the Tome or you uninstall Magic. So, how do we fight cycling? We can exile their graveyard with the Elspeth's Nightmare. That's probably our best chance. And we need to keep their little creatures off the board or they'll cause us a lot of trouble. Oh, okay. There's the land. Drama not needed. Goodbye, Everwise. Let's not be doing that. Even though I could eliminate it, which is very tempting, I need the land. And this needs to go as well, but I hope Doomfortold can get to it and we can take out fairies with Glass Casket, things like that. All right, they're saying go. Cycling time is here. White mana. Do we find it? No. So how bad do I need white mana this turn? Pretty bad. I mean, I'm not going to cast the Yorion unless I find untapped white here. This is where Triome's really good, though. It produces blue, so it can cast a Yorion, but we've got to have the white. Untapped white. Draw. Failed. All right, deck. So you want to do things the hard way. We're gonna have to get to it with Doomfortold. The cycling begins. A fairy has arrived. I always need a bit of a nap when I play this deck. It's never a happy time. No attack. That's an interesting choice. Opponent committed to some kind of a pacifist way of life or something? What is this? Still can't find the land. So what's the next play? Could run out the Kaya. Kaya exiling this. Not great. They just attack it to death. And we do need to hit land. So, I think we bind. Bind, at least we know we're going to draw into a land if it resolves. Now, does this cycling deck run counter spells? Just straight up run counter spells. They let it go. What the heck is going on? If they have cycling to do... Okay, they're not even cycling. What is going on? Their deck's so weird. Why their deck's so weird, man? They don't counter things, they don't cycle things. What's going on? They don't even attack? Like, they haven't attacked me yet. They could have last turn and they didn't. Okay. Okay. Attacker confirmed. They actually do know how to attack. I mean, are they gearing up to counter this Yorion? I'm getting that vibe. I'm getting a counter your Yorion vibe. And what is wrong with my deck? It can't pull land. There we go. Well, we'll have the ultimatum option next turn. So I think we're just all about Yorion getting countered here. Black, black, black. Green, green. White, white. I guess we go white. Yorion! Resolves. Okay. I mean, we don't need to ultimatum if we don't have anything in our graveyard, do we? Do something! Do something, cycling! What are you... What is this? What's going on? I'm so confused. Pyromancer. They played around removal for the opportunity to burn me. Maybe. My face. Alright, let's scry it up. What do we need? We need the Nightmare. Exiling the graveyard's big. We need something powerful. Let's see, what does another land do for us? 8 mana. Nothing that 7 doesn't do for us, so that's not really worth it. Let's see, I'm probably going to eliminate this. And I can do it in response to the second cycle and make them have 3 cycle effects. And I'm probably going to play Kaya and put a counter on the Yorion. So I can scry here. Okay. Do we want to start hitting them with Doom? Let's attack them. What you got? Start the clock. Man, they are playing cycling like a true control deck, aren't they? All right. Here's Kaya. Tick-tock. They do play counter spells. Wow. All right, Kaya countered. So they've been goofing around this whole time because they have a neutralize. All right. Game on. Another pyro. And another... Oh, baby. Oh, you warrior. Let's see if they kill the Yorion. Do you kill the Yorion? Are you a Yorion Slayer? Nope, don't care. Gotcha. What to do next? Might draw a card off this, but probably not, right? Let's see, Casket, Doom. Yeah, we might draw. Let's take our draw step. Main. All right, Death Touch Yorion, OP. I do want to play this very much. All right, so let's get the Doom down. This does fill the opponent's graveyard. We're at 13. This is an exile effect, but this isn't a cycling card. Will we lose the game by giving them a few more cyclers? How many cyclers are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Probably not, but it's close. It's risky. Especially if they cycle and get 3 damage off of this first. But I want my ultimatum. All right, I'm doing it. Screw it. One cycler. If I'm dead by 1 point, I have myself to blame. Okay, that's a cycle. They have to do it again, though. They have to cycle twice to get the effect because they haven't drawn their card for their turn yet. And I don't think they knew that. I think we got them. We got them a little bit. Just a little. The next question we need to know, do they have a counter for the ultimatum? They're incentivized to cast the flare. They don't have to, but they're incentivized to. I'm about to exile a few of their cyclers. 2 of them, to be exact. Okay, for each creature exiled. Yep, there it is. I don't think we need 2. What do I need? I need to hit their graveyard. All right. What do we sacrifice, guys? We can sacrifice the Yorion and double all of our ETBs. Doesn't matter too much, does it? I mean, sacrifice the Doom and just get the Doom back. Yeah, I guess that's the play. All right, creatures. There's one, there's another. And we want them to have cycling, so it reduces the potency of their Zenith Flare. This is another 4 life. Do we want this? Filling their graveyard could cost us. We're going to make them discard when a Doom Foretold pops, but if they put the flare and cast it in response, we're at 7. We're about to go to 11. They have 6. If we get back binding, it could go to 7, 8, 9. This is a big one. This is a tough one. I'm going without the binding. Oh, makes me feel so bad.
If the job is wrong, I change that. Yours it feels weird.
Gain the life now. ECD. Doom Foretold. Okay, it's just a land. There's a nightmare. If we can accelerate that, like a Vorinclex, it's a few turns from winning the game. They say go. Oh man. Oh man. What's gonna happen? I guess we can Doom Foretold that as well. The ultimatum. Yeah, we can keep getting back Doom with ultimatum again. That is something. They are thinking though. What did you draw? What did you draw that you like? If they drew a cycler, you just cycle. Makes it feel like they drew a Zenith Flare, doesn't it? They're in my head. They're in my head. Zombie, zombie.
Well, you're not lacking for spirit.
One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 can cast this. We definitely want to play Doom or another ultimatum. I definitely want to play the Nightmare, so we're playing the Nightmare. If they counter it, we play the ultimatum and get it back. And we start the clock on their graveyard. Don't know if we'll need it, but we're gonna start it. Okay, there you go, neutralize, all right. No bindings. What are we at now? 13. They could definitely kill me if I fill their graveyard too much. On the other hand, they would have to draw it next turn. God, this is so... I'm doing it. It's 2 cycling creatures, but we can exile them if we get to next turn to gain the 2 life. We pop the Doom Foretold. They drop to 10. We gain 2. We go to 15. Right now their flare is for 10. Can they cycle enough to flare me out? I don't think so. Not from an empty hand. They can cycle enough to flare me for 14, not 15. Hey, it's the content play, guys. They hit 3 cyclers in a row. They're facing lethal damage. They hit 4 cyclers in a row. Like, in a perfect sequencing of cards, if they have flare right here. Oh, man. Oh, my gosh! No way! No freaking way! They did it! The game goes on. They actually had the perfect sequence. How did they do it? They're at 24 now. Can I somehow kill a wolf and ultimate this? I don't see it. I don't see it. We need one more turn. How did they do that? All right. We're gonna ultimate the Kaya. I want the free legendary spells because I'm a Greed Lord. That much I'm sure of. Go to black. I think we're going to ultimatum again too. Because I want to play Doom and I want to play... Oh, we don't have another ultimatum. My bad. So we play you. This card. This freaking card. All right. What legendary am I recasting the Kaya? Let's see. Play you.
Got a good head on those shoulders.
Stay on the trip.
All right. Can they do it again? There's the ultimatum. Can they do it again? Next turn, their graveyard is gone. Are you kidding me? Okay. Okay then. And we are back for the post-game wrap-up, and I failed to purchase a cosmetic, so we'll do that right before the show ends. What do I think of this deck? It's a fun deck. I actually like the variety of it. It adds a little bit of a kind of singleton commander feel to the deck. It's a Yorion deck, so of course I enjoy it. It's an ultimatum deck, so of course I enjoy it. Those are two of my favorite things in Magic. One, the 80 cards and blinking a whole bunch of things. Just having more spots in your deck to play the 1-ofs and 2-ofs that make things more fun. The ultimatums, casting a 7-mana sorcery that has a huge, gigantic impact on the game. Feels very fun and rewarding, you know, when it resolves. So this is the kind of deck that I play for fun, and I think some of you would enjoy as well. Binding of the Titans actually impressed me. It really did its best. That cycling game it is what it is. You gotta let that kind of stuff happen. Let it go. Maybe someday you'll be the one drawing 2 Zenith Flares in perfect spots in your library. And then on the other side of that, well, would you play it in ladder? The only way I would shift to a deck like this for ladder is if the Emergent Ultimatum deck was banned or hated so hard that it was pushed out of the meta by cards that don't ruin the EERIE Ultimatum. If everybody's playing Redain, EERIE Ultimatum's a lot worse too. So it's hard to picture what it would take to completely get rid of Emergent Ultimatum. Maybe a whole bunch of Mystical Disputes in every single deck. So I don't foresee this being a meta force, but it is a very fun one, and it might get you brewing and trying some cards in this deck because of the nature of it, encouraging more 2s and 1-ofs than you would normally play. So it's fun. Have fun with it. Let's go to the store and pick up that cosmetic I didn't buy in the intro in honor of the member who was foretold to us. And look at that. There's really only one deal to grab here. Justin, thank you very much for supporting and being a Cool Kids Club member. This World Tree is for you. And thank you to you who watched for the end. You, as always, you're cool.